Many, many years ago, a century and more, a group of brave young Irishmen left Erin's bright green shore. They took a sailing vessel and faced the stormy sea, and crossed the great Atlantic to a land where they'd be free. In 1825, the Robinson immigration came from Cork, Ireland, and it was poor Catholics, and they came and they created Peterborough, and then they also branched out from there, spread around, and created areas like Downeyville, and we can see this Irish heritage in both the names of those places that they've created around Peterborough, but also in the culture that is still very relevant here today in both music and just the amount of people who have Irish heritage and blood.
The settlers came, they were provided 70 acres, and if they cleared another 30 within a certain period of time, they were able to acquire that as well. And there were just over 3,000 people came, something like 129 families. The agriculture was based on cattle and chickens, and that was the commerce in the summertime, and in the wintertime it was lumbering. And lumbering brought a certain lifestyle. In the evening they sang, and they sang songs that they had learned in Ireland and Scotland. It was like a Scots-Irish mix of songs they sang, and they created new songs. And one of those songs was a song called The Backwoodsman.
It's well I do remember the year of 45. Felt myself quite happy to find myself a guide. Harnessed up my horses, my business to pursue. Went off hauling cordwood as I often used to do. It's the kind of song that would probably get its transmission through lumbermen, because somebody would learn the song, and then by the end of the winter, everybody in the camp that they were working in would also know the song.
Being a lumberman was a hard life. It was dangerous. Men were hurt, men were killed. But in the shanties afterwards, you sort of tried to mellow out a little bit and sing some songs about your working life, your friends. Edith Folk was a broadcaster in Toronto. She had a program on CBC in the evening. When she was doing her broadcasting of the CBC, she was frustrated because she could not find a lot of Canadian songs, and came to the Peterborough region and drove up and down the back roads and went into stores and went into the newspaper and the radio station saying, "Is there anybody here singing old songs? I'd like to record some old songs." And then one day in October of 1955, she drove into the village of Douro, the hamlet of Douro, it's actually a hamlet, and went into the town's general store and asked of the cashier, "Is anybody here sing old songs?" And the response was yes. So Edith Folk got this mammoth tape recorder out of the car, set it up in the kitchen, and started recording Mary Townsend, who was quite prepared to sing. When Edith Folk drove back to her home in Toronto, she discovered, when she started listening to these songs and documenting the lyrics, that these were songs that were 200 and 300 years old. In 1955, these songs were still being sung, and there were still remnants of the lumbering. So she ended up with all these recordings, and she was playing them on her radio show. One of those songs was The Backwoodsman. The next song we're going to do is, well, we think it originated in the big town of Omemee. So we mentioned Omemee, and there's a little bit about Downeyville. But this is from
1845.
1845. The father tells the son, "Hey, I want you to pull 4 loads of lumber." The son says, "Sure, I'll go and do it." Father looks out a few hours later, and he's pulled 1 load and disappeared. So this is a song about the wayward boy.
Well, do I
I remember the year 45. I think to myself, we're lucky to find myself alive. Harnessed up my horses, my business to pursue. Went hauling cordwood, as I often used to do.
Was originally drawn to the song because I think it sort of stands alone in his attitude, its theme from music of that era in Ontario.
I only haul one load when I should have hauled more. Got to Mimi, I couldn't haul no more. The taverns, they be open, the liquor's flowing free. Empty one glass when another was filled for me.
It's the old story. It's, I mean, he's selling firewood, right? It's what he's doing, and he gets bored with that in the second verse, goes to a bar, has a few, meets a guy, hears about a better place to go to, and goes there.
I met an old acquaintance, I dare not tell his name. He was going to a dance, I thought I'd do the same. He was going to that dance where the fiddle was sweetly played, and the boys and girls all danced to the breaking of the day.
So he gets on his horse and goes and parties in Downeyville, and then we find that either his father or his boss was trying to track him down too. Oh, and he neglected his work at the beginning of the song too. So that's punk rock pretty well, isn't it?
I put my saddle on my arm and started for the barn. To saddle up Grey Nag, I thought I'd do no harm. To saddled up Grey Nag and rode away so still. I never drew a breath till I came to Downeyville.
He actually mentions the tunes of Old Ireland
Yes.
in it. And he talks about the fiddle player and the actual dancing. So I'm thinking it was a song that would have traveled around maybe at dances.
My father followed after, I heard the people say. He must have had a pilot, he had never found his way. He looked in every keyhole where he could see a light. Those old grey locks were wet with the dew of night. Well do I remember the year of 45.
When we had the Crosscut project, Rob did the artwork, I did the text. But in order to make this thing really sizzle, we decided that we had to form a band, to call the band the Backwoodsman, and record some of the songs that came from the lumbering shanties locally.
In a pleasant dream, I saw the old country.
Backwoodsman is a group of 4 individuals who are singing and recreating the songs from Edith Swoke's song collecting and going back to 1825.
The song inside, light inside.
I've always been in art and involved in music. Looking at the then and the now and how things have changed or not have changed. And my point of view is that no, there's not a lot of change because we're still humans. So it's about human sentiments, about human emotions, going from war to love to what have you, work and party, and party is the song the Backwoodsman is about, right? So work and party kind of thing. You know, the history of those songs and that connection with Douro so close by, like I thought it'd be cool to illustrate, put those songs in as a visual to create liner cuts of those songs. There were some that came from Edith Folke's collection. A lot of them that had connections with the area, with Peterborough, Lakefield, Douro, this area, Backwoodsman being one of them.
Well, the musicologists who have studied the Backwoodsman have found versions of it all over North America. And I still think that it is a local song because the versions I hear still talk about Mimi and Downeyville. And if you go to Downeyville, hey, you're still going to find an Irish dance or so.
ceremonies for the hall were in 1919. My grandfather was part of the entertainment that day, and he would have been a 25-year-old fellow at that time. He would have played violin there. What I remember, he wasn't a particularly good player, but he would have been enthusiastic and probably had a few jokes to tell.
So this is my seeing eye dog. You've got a Chihuahua for a seeing eye dog? Princess, they gave me a Chihuahua?
But anyway, because I'm so old, they asked me to do history. But thanks anyway, Bob. We were raised on a farm, and we had, there were 7 children in the family, which was a small family for Downeyville, but 7 seemed like plenty. But each family that came out, there are very many of their offspring here still. So when we look at names of who's married to who, we're all sort of related in one way or the other. A lot of cousins and things like that. So it makes us close, and we love to get together, especially on St. Patrick's Day. It's been a tradition ever since I was born to have an Irish concert.
It's been 3 long years since we made her day, and sing all away, my laddie-o.
Now I met an old acquaintance, I don't know his name. He was going to a dance and I thought I'd do the same. He was going to a dance where the freedom seemed to be played, and the boys and girls all danced in the breaking of the day.
In spite of trials and hardship, they had blarney, laughter, song. With their Irish wit and humour, years swiftly rolled along.
Awesome.
Good. All right, that good?
I think that was
High fives. Yeah, we got her done.
Bravo.